Craving for fatty foods and food high in protein is a common finding in people with adrenal fatigue. This is Dr. Lam, founder of drlam.com. Here we're going to talk about the reasons why this happens. Now, those people with adrenal fatigue normally has underlying metabolic problems. I'm talking about those people in advanced stages, not in the early stages, because in the early stage there is practically no symptoms, and most people are able to plow through the day okay. They can have terrible diet and still feel good. Now, this is not the case if you start to have advanced adrenal fatigue, because your body's ability to produce energy is compromised if you don't have a perfect balance. Now, most people in advanced adrenal fatigue, as I said earlier, have carbohydrate metabolic imbalances. They cannot take too much carbohydrate, and they cannot take too little carbohydrate. Oftentimes, their body will tell them, and they automatically switch to a higher protein and fat. Why? Because these compounds, the proteins and the fat, has a slower release of sugar. So they stay in the blood, and the effectiveness of sugar release tend to be longer. So most people in advanced adrenal fatigue have reactive hypoglycemia, where they feel tired and they have irritability 2 hours after they eat, 3 hours after they eat. They cannot last 5 or 6 hours. But having more protein, which release the sugar slowly, will let them have the ability to go longer, maybe 4 hours or so. So the body understands that. The body is smart enough, and the body automatically will gear you towards that direction. So some people will come in and say, yes, I cannot tolerate carbohydrate, but I like protein, I like meat, or I like fat. And that is the way that the body is telling you. But they don't necessarily understand what is going on. Now, unfortunately, with the society, sometimes healthy eating is equated to the less protein, more vegetarian, etc. But you can get protein from both vegetarian sources as well as animal sources. But oftentimes this is missed. The important thing to understand is that protein and fat are important components of our daily diet. They are not necessarily bad. Animal protein is also not that bad, provided that you know how to use it properly. Heat can destroy protein and change the structure, and same thing with the fat. But if you eat, for example, eggs that are very good in protein and very good in cholesterol, can actually sustain the body much faster, much longer than just regular carbohydrate, especially the longer part. The fast part is not as much, because some of the carbohydrate can give you instant release, especially refined carbohydrate. But most people in adrenal fatigue, they are not in a diet high in refined carbohydrate, because they've learned their lessons. They may eat a lot of salad, which is complex carbohydrate, but there's a tendency to eat a little bit more protein than normal, which is good for the body to sustain the sugar. They may eat more fat, which is also good to help the body sustain a more steady blood sugar. So in that respect, when a person feels the need for more protein and high-fat diet, is actually a sign and a symptom of metabolic imbalance that usually is associated with adrenal fatigue. Not 100%, but it's something that you can look into. It's a subtle sign, and you combine it together with the rest of the clinical picture, and you should be clear. I hope you've enjoyed this video. For more information on this topic, head over to drlam.com, where I have written over 1,000 articles to help educate people. You can also call me at 626-571-1234 for more information on adrenal fatigue and how to navigate it. Finally, if you enjoyed this video, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Thanks for watching.